Welcome to Java Development Tools webinar from JPassion.com. Today's topic is Google Codepro Analytics, and we have covered a bunch of code quality analysis tools so far, including checkstyle, PMD, Findbox, and Sonar. And Codepro is the last tool that we are going to cover, and from next week we are going to cover Maven and Nexus and GitHub and Hudson and a couple of other tools. Let's go to the presentation. Okay, so it's going to be a short presentation, and we're going to spend most of our time actually doing the lab. Okay, moving forward, so we'll talk about what is Codepro Analytics, and then we'll look into some of those features. So what is and why Codepro Analytics? So Codepro Analytics is a tool from Google for Java software development for Eclipse developers. And basically, it actually has a lot of features that you can take advantage of. We're going to take a look at those features in the following slide and actually exercise those features in the rest of the presentation. And so, basically the idea of usage of these tools, including Codepro Analytics, is to reduce development cost by improving the quality and the speed of software development. Okay, so features. So code analysis and the similar code analysis, and this is actually duplicate code analysis and code coverage. It's actually for testing code coverage and dependency analysis and JUnit test generation, test editor, and you can also get some matrix. So code analysis is basically you can choose a set of the audit rules set. For example, Codepro Core, Codepro Default. You can choose effective Java or elements of Java style. So these are the audit coding rule set. You can pick and choose. You can combine these things, and then Codepro Analytics tool will actually give you the result. And duplicate code analysis. So duplicate code analysis feature is actually available in other tools such as the PMD and Findbox, and again, it's available in Codepro as well. Code coverage, again, is available in other set of tools. So basically, finding out whether a certain part of your code is in fact covered by testing. One thing nice about Codepro is that it can give you the trend. And this trend, you can actually get this kind of trend, meaning as you move on, it will actually give you the code coverage, the percentage-wise in history. You can get this information from continuous integration tools such as Hudson or Jenkins, but it's available in Codepro as well. Okay, dependency analysis. It will actually tell you what dependency has between projects, between packages, and between types. And we're going to actually exercise all this in a few minutes. You can actually have a JUnit test generated from Codepro. And this is a JUnit test editor. So my apologies for the resolution of the picture is not good. Matrix, you can have a lot of information about matrix on your code. All right, so that's the presentation. Again, we're going to actually spend most of our time actually doing the hands-on lab. So let's take a look at the hands-on lab. So this is the lab documentation. So we are going to start installation of Codepro Analytics Eclipse plugin. So you go to Help, and then you're going to select Install New Software. And depending on which version of your Eclipse, you can choose a different URL. So this is for Indigo 3.7, I'm sorry. And for Helios, you can choose this URL. And it does support 3.5 as well. Okay, and then you press the return key or enter key, and then you're gonna see a set of plugins you can install. So here we're gonna just install Code Coverage and Codepro, both of them. Okay, and then you click next, and you're gonna follow normal plugin installation procedure for your Eclipse IDE. All right, so let's assume we have the Codepro plugin is installed. So that is the case. Okay, so I have already installed, and we are going to actually play around the Pet Clinic sample application we have used in other tools. Okay, so you want to actually open Pet Clinic SDK sample application. If you want to actually try different application, that's perfectly fine as well. All right, so let's actually try the first exercise. So exercise 1, we are going to try audit code. So you can choose audit code. If you choose audit code, then it will use a default whatever selection you have made. Or if you choose audit code using, and then you're going to see this choose audit rule set. Okay, so let me actually try that. So right click your project and choose Codepro tools. And here I'm going to choose audit code using so that I can see these options. So I'm going to choose Codepro core and deselect potential errors and refactoring. And then you're going to see click OK. Okay. And then it's going to give you some violations. Okay. So here I'm going to actually click. We have one violation of equality test with the Boolean literal, and give you the description right here. So description is that, let's take a look at the code first. So this is the code. So basically, usage of Boolean literal like this is discouraged. Instead, you want to use question mark like this. Okay, so I'm going to just change this one like this. And then I'm going to so this is a mark from the Codepro. So equality test with a Boolean literal false. So I'm going to just save the change I made. So I'm just using expression and save the change, and I'm going to retry it. So I'm going to actually try on this particular code. So I'm going to say Codepro tools, and this time I'm going to just select audit code. And then it's going to actually do the auditing, and you can see that is gone. Okay, all right. So that is very simple exercise. We have done in exercise 1. So that's basically what I just did. We just change the code to this. Okay, and then we do the audit code one more time. Okay, and the violation is removed. That's what we just have done. Now, the second exercise of this audit thing is we're going to try different rule set. So we're going to try this time potential errors and refactoring. So let's try that. So again, I'm going to choose Codepro tools and audit code using. And this time I'm going to actually choose potential errors and refactoring. Just for the sake of this testing, I'm going to just try just one. So it does have a lot of things. Okay. So maybe we'll try, let's see, what is the exercise we are doing here. So you can actually try, you can actually see all this, violations. So I'm going to try declared exception, and so this is the case that you are actually using exception class in your code, and that is actually discouraged because it's not specific enough. So I'm going to actually go, so here, this is the case. So instead of using exception, you want to use like an IO exception, a bit more specific, okay? So let's actually try that. Declared exception, and let me see this. We'll just choose one of those code. So this is the code. Yeah, so here is actually using exception. So, instead of using exception, you might want to use IO exception, and the import IO exception class. And then you are going to redo the Codepro analysis like this. and then the violation is gone. Okay. All right. So again, very simple usage of it. Okay, so that is exactly what I just did. So moving forward. Okay, let's move on to exercise 2. So it looks like there are a couple of questions. Is there a way to download the presentation? No, unless you're actually paying member. The attending this webinar is free, but accessing all the course contents, including slide and recordings and hands-on labs and homework, those are only for paying members. And as soon as I'm done with this webinar, the recording will be posted. Okay, second question. Is it possible to use Codepro outside of Eclipse? The answer is no. It's only for Eclipse users. All right, so let's move on to the next exercise, compute matrix. It gives you a lot of information about your the project. Okay, so I'm gonna just try compute matrix using, and here it does have only one the matrix set, so Codepro default. Okay, and then you can find a lot of information. So let's try that. Right click and Codepro tools. And so at this point it doesn't matter which one to use because we have only one option. Okay, but just to see what options we have, I'm going to choose code matrix using, and here Codepro default is chosen. So I'm going to just click OK, and then we have a lot of information about this matrix. I'm going to actually maximize the matrix information. Okay, so you can see the abstractness 13%. Average block depth is so this is description. This is the average of the maximum block depth of each of the methods defined in the target element. And you can actually expand it, and you can find more information. These are for average number for each of these packages, and you can actually kind of go further. And in this case, this is actually the code. Okay, all right. And let's see, so basically a lot of information. So one of the things that we can take a look at is cyclomatic complexity. We covered the concept of cyclomatic complexity last week. Was it last week? A few weeks ago, as part of the other presentation. So cyclomatic complexity is basically average of cyclomatic complexity of each of the methods defined in target elements. So it's actually measurement of number of distinct paths of execution. So the higher the number, it's more complex. Okay, the more complex it is, it has the higher number. So you want to actually reduce the cyclomatic complexity smaller. Okay, so that your code is simple rather than complex. Okay, and again you can see the values of cyclomatic complexity number for each of these packages. Again, you can actually drill down each of this code. So this one is just one. Okay. All right, so let's actually take a look at the documentation. So here, so abstractness, and we actually kind of take a look at the in this case cyclomatic complexity. So this code has 8 owner validation Java is because we have a lot of if and else statements. So let's take a look at that one. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so this is one. This one has a very high number of let me just expand this one more time. And so yeah, this is a complexity, and so this one has 4.66. So if I go over here, the reason this package has very high number of cyclomatic complexity is because this owner validator, the Java, has very high number, like 8. So if you take a look at the code, the reason is because it has a lot of if and else if statement. Okay, so it has a lot more distinct path. Okay, so that is the second exercise. And you can also configure matrix. So if you right click and configure matrix, then you can pick and choose for computing cyclomatic complexity. Okay. And the maximum average value, this is a threshold. So any number above this 6.0 will have a red colored flag. Okay, so this is a method by parameter average number of parameters. Yeah, so to give you information, parameter count, okay, number of fields, and breakdown by scope. And yeah, so we actually kind of learned the description of cyclomatic complexity, right? Okay. Okay, so moving forward, yeah, method complexity, we just saw that. Okay, so now let's move on to exercise 3. So before we move on, let me see if there is a question. Do you know of any tools to use for checking Tomcat performance? I encounter Tomcat issues every week due to performance and heap out of memory error due to memory leak. Yeah, so we have the Java. Let me actually go to Java performance course. So if you actually go to Java performance course, we actually cover a lot of those things in Tomcat. Okay, so let me just go to Java performance course. So we cover memory leak using memory profiler and Eclipse memory analyzer. This is after you got the heap dump. And then we also use NetBeans profiler performance profiling. And another profiling tool that we are using in this case exactly actually to see how Tomcat is performing is using AppDynamics. So you can actually get the performance aspect from both the application as well as the lib Tomcat as well. So I recommend you take a look at these contents of Java performance course. Okay, so let's actually get back to okay, the next exercise is find similar code. Find similar codes is basically find duplicate code. So, we're going to actually select find similar code. We'll try it. So for Pet Clinic, I'm going to select right click and Codepro tools and select find similar code. Okay, so this is the result. Okay. So now if I actually, so we have actually 4 instances of duplicate code, potential duplicate code. So if I double click this guy, and it will actually show, it will show the location of duplicate code. Okay. So if you just double click it, it will actually show where duplications are present. It's very simple to use. Okay, so that's pretty much it for exercise 3, looking at the duplication code. All right, exercise 4 is analyze dependencies. For reasonably good size applications, you want to know what is the dependency of your project, with against another set of project, or what packages is using, meaning what jar files is using, and sometimes you want to see dependencies within your own code among types. Okay, so that is basically dependency analysis tool. Okay, so let's actually do the dependency analysis tools for the Pet Clinic example application. So I'm going to right click and again Codepro tools and analyze dependencies. All right, so this is what you get. So basically this Pet Clinic, your application, your project has a dependency on all the other the jar files. Okay, so you can see the icon is representing jar files. Okay, it doesn't have a dependency on any other project, so that's the reason we don't actually see the project icon, but it has a dependency on all the jar files. Okay, now if I want to see inside my project, I'm going to just double click. Now I can see these are the dependencies among packages. Okay, so you can see the icon of these packages, right? Now these red color, by the way, these numbers actually representing reference numbers. So this is actually show reference count. So how many times they actually referenced. So you can see this guy, JDBC package, is actually referencing this package 9 times. So if I just click this one, you can see the numbers are the represent. You can just toggle this reference count. Now, what about this red colored things? So when packages have codependencies, meaning this package has a dependency of this, and this package has a dependency on this. So they have codependencies. Usually, it's not a good practice, and it might actually indicate there is in fact a problem in your design. So that's the reason it's actually the represented in red colored font. Okay, all right. Okay, so now if I actually go to, let me actually see what is the next exercise. So we just have done that. So you can double click it where you can explore contents. And so this is what we have seen. Okay, and yeah, so okay, if you double click it, then you're going to see dependencies among types. I'm going to just go to maybe, double click this guy. And now these are all types. Okay, so these are the types of dependencies. Okay, now if you want to actually go back to previous screen, you just go back, okay, or you going back and forth like this. Okay, all right. And I showed you this is the reference count. Okay. And this one is showing only dependencies from selected nodes. So you select a certain node, and then you show this one. Okay, and then it will just to show the dependencies on the selected node. Okay, and, all right. Now we actually have a dependencies among all types. Okay, so give you a sense of dependencies of your project against other project and against other packages, and then inside your package. Okay? So we just go back and go forward, and oh, you can actually generate HTML report as well. So here I can actually generate. So this is the basically generate HTML report, and then you can save that HTML report somewhere, and then you can just open that the HTML file. So in my case, I just save the file, and this is the result. Okay, so and you can just click one of this, and we'll have more detailed information. Okay, next exercise is code coverage. Okay, so before we move on, let me see if there are other questions. Do you have any plans for conducting distribution computation using Hadoop and ETL framework like Talend? I actually get requests to offer the Hadoop, so I think that's excellent suggestion. So I'm gonna actually look into as one of the future courses, but I don't have an immediate plan, meaning I don't have any concrete plan to offer Hadoop course yet, because I have actually other plans, meaning other priorities. For example, Groovy on Rails, the Groovy and Grails, and Ruby on Rails, as well as GWT. So those are, and HTML5. So those are high priority course items. Okay, so let me just move on to exercise 5, code coverage. So, code coverage tools are actually available in other tools as well. So basically, you're going to select Codepro tools and then select instrument code coverage. And then you have to perform the testing, okay? So that, the instrumentation of Codepro will actually check, whether those codes are in fact actually being covered or not. Okay, so let's try that. So we are going to select the project and Codepro tools, and we're going to instrument code coverage, meaning I'm actually asking Codepro to start instrumentation when I actually do the code testing. Okay, so instrumentation is started. Now I'm going to do the testing. Okay, run as, and I'm going to select JUnit test. Okay, and save the change, whatever. All right, so now the Codepro is doing the analysis. Oops, I'm not sure what this is all about. Exception, okay. Okay, so this is the result. So we got 50.4% of code coverage, and you can take a look at, this is below, this is about 21.7%, because these two classes have not been tested at all. This one is tested with the 86%, which is not bad. Okay, so again, you can actually see which code has been tested and which code has not been tested. Okay, so let's see what this is. Yeah, this one is executed 3 times. This one is executed 3 times. Okay. All right, so that is code coverage. Okay, so we just check the results. Yeah, so you can see this one. This actually indicates that this has been executed, meaning testing code. This code has been tested, and this code has not been tested. Okay. All right, you can also see the history. So in this case, I haven't really kind of added new testing code. So the basically it's flat. But if you actually added more testing code and then you perform the testing, then it will tell you the historical trend of your testing coverage, which is good. Again, typically you want to get this historical information from continuous integration tools such as Hudson or Jenkins, rather than from this, from your IDE. Okay, but it's available here. Then you have to uninstrument the code coverage unless you want, this coding coverage to be performed continuously. So I'm going to just uninstrument code coverage. So in fact, if you want to add, if you generate the testing code from Codepro, you have to actually uninstrument it as well. Okay, moving forward, and exercise 6 is find that code. Again, pretty simple to use. You select Codepro tools and find that code, and you can find this result. So this is the dead code, meaning it's not actually being, it's not doing anything much. All right, so the homework is basically to fix another audit violation, and you can use any audit rule set of your choice. Sample technical application, or you can use your application of your choice. All right, so that is actually end of today's presentation. So let me actually